This podcast is brought to you by our amazing Anime Addicts community. We love you guys so much, and if you want to love us back, you can do so at aapodcast.com/join or Patreon. On our hentai episodes today, which you'll get when you join the podcast, we will be talking with a person with with firsthand soapland experience. So that should definitely be an adventure if you're in for a little bit of extracurricular knowledge about Japan. aapodcast.com/join or Patreon. You'll get all the extra content. You'll be helping out the show. And with that, let's get that show started.
Get ready! You're about to listen to the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. Make your anime addiction worse at aapodcast.com. And now, here are your anime addicts.
Hello and welcome. It's the 736th episode of the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast.
Whoop, whoop.
Here today, we got the whole crew here. We got Mason with his exceptionally curly hair. Like,
yeah.
Look at that.
I cut my hair.
Fluff,
Okay.
Slow.
So I actually
Wow.
I cut my hair. It's all gone.
Oh, shit.
It looks
And
beautiful.
Little
didn't even
known
see
fact,
that.
though, when you cut your hair is used to having the weight of all the hair weighing it down. So it either gets super curly, or if it's short enough, sticks straight up like an eraser head. And so we're in the curly phase between the humidity, the new cut. It's a nightmare. But give it a couple weeks, it'll ease out. And good to be back. Thank you.
It looks cool.
It's very trendy, and I don't like it. I don't want to be trendy.
And with his exceptionally shiny bald head, we have Mitsugi. Oh, double water moment.
So I'll have you know that I'm just drinking water today, but I did eat an edible 5 minutes ago, and that's going to be hitting around the news break. Mason,
Oh, joy.
I know you love your water.
Yeah.
You have no chance of keeping up with me today on water.
Ooh. Okay. Well, we should measure out how much this is.
There's
and
no
play
way.
a game. It's like, what is
A drinking game of water.
Unbelievable
Price is Right
cottonmouth.
Price of Right rules? You have to drink as much as possible, but if you have to use the bathroom and you go over, you lose. So how much can you mainline while keeping it locked in?
Oh wow. Oh gee.
It's or just
Are you guys gonna be pulling out measuring cups right now?
maybe.
Yeah, we're gonna measure our PPs too. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You find every opportunity you can possibly get to say something weird.
I would like to take this moment to say a prayer for Caroline's internet.
Oh, I thought when we said we were gonna say a prayer, I thought you were going to bring in
Oh.
your Church of Mitsugi
Well,
floaty.
you were so
church
angry.
music. You brought in the Hellfire music. We haven't gotten there yet.
You were so angry about your internet just a minute ago. I thought that was pretty much where it needed to be.
Oh yeah, like the Hellfire music definitely was a few minutes ago. But if we're gonna be saying a prayer, we have to try to reach the router's heart here. We can't come in.
All right, go ahead and say a quick. All right, okay.
Okay. After suffering 3 disconnections during Hobby Addicts today, 3 already, before even the main show starts, I would like to appeal to the router god's good graces, because I am a good computer user. I treat my equipment with respect. And I'm trying to do this service to weebs all around the world, trying to give a good show and to not be booted out of that said show. So I appeal, please, router god or gods everywhere, please keep me connected to this show today, because I really need this. It is becoming really tough on my mental health, having to deal with this several times an episode. So please, do this for me. In the name of the router, the monitor, and the GPU. Amen.
Caroline,
Lord.
are you still there? I think we lost Caroline. I think.
What? Are you serious?
No.
Oh my god. Don't do that to me.
Lord, let us pray the pimp's prayer. Lord, please pray for the soul of this router and guide my pimp hand and make it strong, Lord, so that it may learn a router's place. Amen.
I feel like there were several references that I didn't understand.
That was a reference to
Okay.
a pimp
but
named
if
Slickback.
If my connection does drop somewhere in this episode, we can bring in the Hellfire music, and instead of a prayer, we can, I don't know, declare war on God or something.
There you go. All right, what are we
doing
doing today on the
this
show?
episode?
Oh yeah, let's talk about that. Well, let's also give a shout out to our Discord. You can join us at aadiscord.com. It's for free and it's for fun, so do so.
I love fun.
And also join us on Twitch live every Sunday at 5 p.m. EDT. And yeah, let's talk about what's happening this episode. Apparently, we have a lot of sequels coming out soon. So let's discuss some of them and see just how excited we are for some of them
I'm excited.
how unexcited we are for the rest of them. And also, we have the review of Kaiju number 8. So is there anything else you guys would like to add before we head into big news of the week?
No. No,
No, ma'am.
I'm doing good.
All right, let's do it then.
おー、大ニュースです。It's time for big news of the week.
I'm going to make this quick, but there is a meal deal worthy of a sorcerer at McDonald's right now. They are doing a Jujutsu Kaisen McDonald's collaboration on July 9th, which is Tuesday. And it'll be-
Marketing at McDonald's.
Yeah.
Somebody in marketing at McDonald's was once a weeb at least
So I have two
in
questions.
their childhood.
I have only one question for each of you. It is effectively inspired by the iconic black garlic sauce from McDonald's Japan. They will now be bringing the special grade garlic sauce meant for chicken nuggets to McDonald's, and the packets have like 20 different characters from Jujutsu Kaisen on them, so you can collect them all, I guess. Question is, and also, you get a 30-day free trial of Crunchyroll when you get a packet of garlic sauce of this sauce. But that's
Pretty cool.
it is cool. That's neither here nor there. The question is, will either of you be interested in trying this special grade garlic sauce, or will I just have to show up next week with it live on camera and eat McNuggets and do a live tasting?
Well, considering I won't be here next week, if I was, I would be tempted to do it with you. I don't typically go to McDonald's ever, except for that one time to test the, what was it? It was just like their, I forgot what exactly kind of sauce it was, but it was like they did manga panels on like
Yeah, it was like a
McDonald's,
red.
McDonald's sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
the chili
McDonald's.
sauce or something
Yeah.
like that.
Mhm.
Or yeah. So I did that once, and I would do it again. It's just I typically don't go to McDonald's, so we'll see. But if you're already gonna do it, I don't see any reason for me to bring McDonald's onto the
Listen.
show.
These are the biceps that chicken nuggets built, okay? I'm just telling you right now. Mason, will you be eating this garlic sauce, or do you have or are you too afraid of McDonald's and getting extreme diarrhea?
I mean,
try it.
This is like.
You'll get some special grade diarrhea.
This is the conundrum of all like moral proportions, because it is the two tenets that I stand upon of A, eating food, and B, not eating McDonald's, clashing together at last. No, if you would feel comfortable, Mitz, that I accompany you in undergoing this special experiment, I would join you if I can remember to do it next week. If you need a hand,
I may DoorDash both of us to the McDonald's if it's available in
Do
both
all
of our
the
areas.
fun stuff without me.
such is life.
Well, it is going to be a wild episode next week.
I will say,
I see. But real quick, Mason. Sorry.
yeah.
I should say we have Gerald from Anime World Order coming on next week to review Wicked City and do the Around the Horn, which will be hosted by our very own Frigimon Fanatic. So look forward to next week.
I'm missing out.
Is he garlic saucing with us as well?
Gerald, he could. What?
I feel like
I'll
I'd
ask
be
him.
more. I don't know. So there's the black garlic sauce in Japan.
Yeah.
Which tells me exactly what it is. It's black garlic sauce. Black garlic is its own like way of texturing the whatever. I know what that is, but when it's just special grade garlic sauce, I have no idea what that means. You know, like what is it?
Will
How is
you
it
be
different?
cursed if you eat it? Is the question.
I hope
I'm
so.
Will
hoping
you be
this is
cursed
so
with the
good
diarrhea?
that you forget you're eating and you kind of munch on your own fingers, similar to the show. Like it makes you just keep on digging in and overeat a bit. But 30 free
Domain
trial,
expansion,
yeah,
McDonald's aftermath.
exactly. A free trial of Crunchyroll is not a bad deal though
No,
to
it's
go with
pretty
it.
fucking good,
Yeah, that's
actually.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm emailing
If I
Joe
can
right
I don't
now.
really
remember,
have anything.
if I can remember, I will try.
All right.
Um,
We will rectify this. I mean, honestly, all I need is an address, and I pull up the app, and tax write-offs, baby. Yeah, free Crunchyroll
yeah.
and tax write-offs. Because I mean,
No, I'm putting.
you'll spend $14 to get a $1 order of McNuggets sent to your house. Pretty much.
I'm putting a reminder, an appointment in my phone right now.
Do it.
That
Do it.
says
Do
Mick
it now.
regret time.
Do it now. Do
Regret.
it. Just do it.
Let's see,
How
what time
long
do I
did
need to
they
do it?
say? Do you know how long the deal will be going
Promotion
on
is
for?
going.
I'm not really sure. Probably a while. The McDonald's was there for quite a while, so just do it.
Yeah, it's like a month or so.
Come on, Mason.
So Caroline, you had the McDonald's before. How early before the podcast did you get it? Like, do I need to be?
I got it before Hobby Addicts, but that's because it says it
You
was
have
at
to.
least an hour before the actual show.
Were you
which
shitting your brains out during the show or after the show?
I was not, thankfully.
At all?
No.
The iron stomach. Oh my God, Caroline coming in hot. Oh, there it is. He's
That's
got
not
the
gonna
memo.
focus.
Nobody can read it, but he's
Mick
got it.
Regret is in his calendar.
Yeah.
So
Mick
yeah, I
Regret.
would definitely recommend getting it from DoorDash though, because then you won't have to have an hour and a half old chicken nugget.
I would be happy to DoorDash everybody.
Well, I'll be on vacation, so.
Well, at least you'll be living in fun in the sun. Anyway, that's it for my news. It's pretty cool that they're doing it. It's a great promotion for anime. Like, people will literally just get they won't even know what they're getting. They'll be like, oh, I'm just going to get this garlic sauce. What is Jujutsu Kaisen? They're going to get a free trial to Crunchyroll. A bunch of people will sign in and they'll watch anime and they'll become anime watchers. I mean, it will happen. So this is definitely probably a promotion that Crunchyroll is helping to pay for, I have to imagine. But definitely pretty neat that Crunchyroll trial is in there. But that's all I have for big news of the week.
Well, how long do you think before there is a One Piece McDonald's promotion?
I'm
feel
surprised
like it's coming.
it hasn't already happened, to be honest with you.
I think
they've done
they
Dragon
have
Ball ones in the past.
or something. But yeah, I think it needs to happen with more properties.
They've done a ton of Dragon Ball ones. They did them back in like 2017 for Dragon Ball Super. I don't know if they're going to do it for One Piece, but they probably will. Mason, what's your big news, buddy?
Big news is Ruby moves under the domain of Viz Media. So a lot of times when we hear stories of acquisitions, they're usually of these huge megacorps, amoeba-like glomping on further as much of the industry as they can manage. And you get this in like the studio acquisitions where stuff like Science Saru subsume into Toho. But here the story is a bit more vulture, and not with a negative connotation, but earlier this month, Ruby was taken off of Crunchyroll, and people were like, why? Where'd it go? And now we know with Anime Expo kind of revealing that with Rooster Teeth shutting down earlier this year, and they were trying to sell off a bunch of IPs and stuff, we now know that Ruby at least is being picked up by Viz Media, which is pretty interesting. Obviously, Viz is more known for their manga and books and more physical media than producing anime like this. And it'll be interesting to see if this is a show that kind of gets rebooted, if they will hire people and just kind of continue to push through. It's kind of close to where it would be ending, people think. I don't know. So if you were concerned about Ruby being gone, it's back. It's in, I would say, pretty good hands with Viz. They tend to push out all their stuff on a bunch of free platforms so people can view it. So that's my big news. I thought that was kind of an interesting acquisition that we don't normally get. So that's it. We can move on.
I don't give two fucks about Ruby, but Pancake did. She was interested in hearing about that, so.
Yeah, I feel like
document.
it's, stuck around for far longer than a lot of people thought, and still has a pretty wide popularity for people who are pretty either nostalgic to it or just still really in it. I think it has like 9 seasons, they call them,
Wow.
of a sort. So yeah, it's still doing its thing. So good for Ruby to not be just discarded on the wayside. But our main topic this week. You want to introduce it, Mitz, since this was your little thing, or should I just keep on going?
So I thought that today we were sometimes before the show we're like, what would be the best thing to talk about today? And I was looking at all the new news articles that came out, and there's always a lot of sequels, and this is getting adapted from a manga and all this, and that's a lot of what anime news is. It's a lot of this is coming out. There's not a whole lot of Kadokawa got hacked. I mean that's in the big news. That's in the news break, but. I said to myself, there is a shitload of sequels coming out. I mean, it's overwhelming, and the number keeps growing and growing. So I thought, why not discuss the sequels coming out by season, and we can put them in this little fucking ranker I have here that I need to fix on the screen. So we got this ranker. So we can tier rank the sequels live, and we'll go through them all. And there's a lot of them. There's more than 30 of these, so we don't have much time to delay. Some of these we will pretty much just not know anything about it because we didn't cover it at all, and some of them we'll have a lot of opinions about, but I think we should go through it and discuss what our excitement level is. I think that it should be really interesting. Starting with ReZero Season 3 from fall 2024. Realistically, I mean, moving fairly quickly, but with conversation, do you guys actually feel like you have a reasonable chance at all of even watching this? Are we interested in ReZero still, or is this something that like just comes and goes and we don't really give a shit?
I'm excited for season 3, partially because I watched season 1 and season 2 pretty much all in one go because I hadn't seen it before we decided to do it for review. So I am still kind of new to the whole ReZero hype. Therefore, I'm excited for season 3.
How about you, Mason?
I think ReZero is a fun show to watch week to week with the discourse of people being like, "Oh, did you see the latest episode? It's kind of wacky and fun." I feel like I kind of already got my fill with ReZero, especially when you consider that, yeah, it's only season 3, but each of the previous seasons have been like big, juicy, like 24 episode shows. Like I'm already 50 episodes deep into ReZero. Like I already know what I'm going to get out of it for the most part. That said, there's much more shows that could be on a third season that I'm less interested in, and I'd say mild interest, like between a B or A tier for me is where I'm sitting. Like, I don't know if I'll actually stick with it, but why not?
I mean, I'm kind of B tier. I don't think I'll watch it, honestly. So you're B or A tier. I mean, I know the show is a big deal. People are still watching it, but I only have time for so much. And honestly, I just think in my heart, Jobless Reincarnation has replaced ReZero. I think it's decidedly better. People may or may not agree, but I think that having watched now about the same amount of both shows, I just think Jobless Reincarnation has a more cohesive plot line, and it just makes more sense. And ReZero is so convoluted with all the dying and rebirth and witches and all this. Like, taking these long breaks is not helping. As I've said before, it really should be done a little tighter, but they don't seem to do that. Caroline, how do you feel about a B tier for ReZero?
Personally, I would put it as an A for me, but I think a B is fair.
All right, we can do an A because Mason also said A, so and I don't really give a shit. So,
well,
I mean,
oh, Mason, you want B tier? We got to go quick here.
We can do B tier. I mean,
we'll do B tier.
Even though ReZero I think is getting better, I still don't think it's must watch for me.
Okay,
but I'm interested to see people talk about it and tell me it's good.
It's season 3, so I think as shows kind of go on, it kind of gets a little less exciting.
We'll get to it in a second. Well, I don't want. We'll get to it in a second. Does anybody at all care about Blue Exorcist season 4? I know nothing about Blue Exorcist. Absolutely nothing.
I've never seen Blue Exorcist.
Yeah, I guess we all dropped the ball on this one, but no, I have not seen it. It's an A1 picture show with tons and tons of episodes, and it just didn't seem like my thing, so I never got into it. So, no opinion.
I'm putting it in the D tier. We don't even give a shit. Fuck it. Blue Lock.
As always, no, I feel like if we can't even give an opinion about a show, it doesn't belong on the ranker at all.
You don't think we should put it? Okay, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, because then it gives the impression that we really don't want to. But the thing is, we don't have an opinion on it.
All right, so. we don't have an opinion.
Sure. Good. I'm glad that people who are fans of it are getting more of it.
But, yeah. Well, and I omitted a lot of sequels from this list that just weren't shows that anybody would really care about. Like, there's a bunch of them that no one's going to watch. I looked it up. I was like, did anybody watch the prior season? And it's like, no. Well, then wow, what? No one cares, so it's not worth talking about. But Blue Lock Season 2, that's worth talking about. I liked Blue Lock Season 1. It was okay. I think that it's pretty funny. I can't remember the name of it. The fuck was that other?
Awashi.
Awashi was a better show by quite a bit, but that doesn't have a second season, at least that I saw on the internet yet. So Blue Lock Season 2. We'll end up watching this probably. Are you guys interested in Blue Lock? Did you like it? Do you want to watch Season 2, or is this just something you'll sit through?
I didn't see Blue Lock 1, so I'll abstain from this one.
Did you
It's
enjoy
funny
it,
because I liked Blue Lock more than Awashi, but I want Season 2 of Awashi more than Blue Lock. I feel like I already saw Blue Lock's hand. I already saw it's just going to be more zany, crazy training, soccer mishaps. And, I already got that flavor. I think Awashi is like a lower slow cooker show. Like, it's going to take time to get to where it's going. And that's why I want to see that finished dish more than I feel like Blue Lock, which is just going to pump out more of the same. That said, it's a fun show. I hope that they clean up their production a bit so it's not so haphazard with the animation. I would say C.
I think C tier too.
I'd watch that.
I might watch it. I won't hate it. It's very shonen. Oh my god, it's so... Jeez Louise. You know when they lead off with like elimination arcs, it's the most shonen thing that's ever happened. So, yeah, pretty much. This next show, we covered it, but I doubt anybody cares, but I think it is popular. It's the Arifureta from Commonplace to World's Strongest, and with a cat girl with breasts that big, or a rabbit girl, cat girl, dog girl, whatever. This...
Don't forget the dragon girl.
The cover art is so sexed up, it looks like a hentai. Honestly, it's hilarious for this Arifureta Season 3. But do we give a fuck? I don't. I don't give two fucks.
So, I don't care about the show, but I'm ready for the memes. I'm ready for people to just share like all the crazy, outrageous things that happened. Because this is, Season 1 came out, and then Season 2 came out pretty soon after, and now we get more of a break. So either they've been cooking for those couple years to come out with something really strange, or more likely we're just going to get more of the same schlock with boobs attached to it. And it's not going to be worth watching. Like, I will not watch this, but I will look forward to people saying, like, what a disastrously fun dumpster fire it is. So, D?
This is for all the people that, want to see... I'm not very good at Twitch. I guess I can't really share it very well. I was trying to show this hot girl character, but the feed is not really working for me too well here.
That's fine. People can use their imagination.
You said D?
I would say D tier.
I think you're right. I think it's D tier. As much as I hate to slap it into the D tier right away,
the double D tier.
I
think everybody would consider Arifureta trash. It's just it's somewhat of a dumpster fire. So that's the only reason.
It's a fun dumpster fire. Like, it doesn't take itself. Well, it takes itself so seriously that it knows that it's trash, that it like loops back around to being kind of self-aware.
All right. Next up on the list here is a good one, Shangri-La Frontier Season 2. I enjoyed Shangri-La Frontier, but I will admit I think it got a little... It started to overstay its welcome a little at the end of the season. I thought it was a little slow. I know we're going to end up watching it, but I'm not overly excited, and neither was Pancake. For me, Shangri-La Frontier is kind of a C tier. It's about where I put Blue Lock, to be honest.
That's exactly how I feel about Blue Lock, too.
Caroline, what was that?
I thought you liked Shangri-La.
I do. It's just that, like, it was so slow. It was a whole 2 cores of not much, honestly. That's how I felt about it. Like, it was, as people say, big, dumb fun. I hate that phrase. I think it's, I don't know. I don't even know what that means. But, like, it just didn't go very well. It spun its wheels for a long time before it got traction again. And I was like, are we going to do anything here? And and I'm worried we're going to dive more of that. Allow me to phrase it like this. The beginning of Shangri-La Frontier was about that girl that wanted to date the boy, the gamer boy, and the gamer boy just wanted to play games that were like shitty, but then he tried the good one. There's not really a narrative in this anime. Like, there's no conflict. I don't know where they're going or what their goal is. That's my problem with it. So The second season, I'm kind of like, I'll watch it. Someone will pick it, but I'm not like jumping over the moon for it. Do you feel the same way?
I feel the same way. I mean, like I said, same with Blue Lock. Like I liked season 1 of Shangri-La. I just feel like I've already been served everything it has to offer. Obviously, none of us are source readers. None of us know.
Yeah.
Yes, new things will happen. I don't doubt that. But is it going to feel different, or is it just the same cast and like and cute anime bunnies and dragons and all the stuff that's going on? Yeah, I'm sure it'll be a super fun time. Like I'm not opposed to it, but can't wait for it. So C, I'm fine with C.
All right. The next one is Caroline. Where did you want to put that one? I have it in C right now because Mason and I both did that, but
To abstain on this one because I didn't see season
okay.
one.
This next
There's
one.
too many sequels that I haven't seen the original of.
Well,
So basically, all of them, I'm just like, don't pass.
You can't.
Then I'll be forced to watch the prior season.
The next one is really a Mitsuki joint here. It's Dragon Ball Daima. I know neither of you are like massive Dragon Ball fans, but I figure this has to be. I'm gonna be reasonable. I'm gonna put it in A because it's probably gonna be watched by a bajillion people. But I imagine neither of you are very excited. Although I will certainly be watching it. You guys are gonna end up watching it because I'm gonna pass it.
I'd say B
Even
for
if it is
babies because
disappointing?
all the characters are going to be young. That's annoying.
Oh.
No, like it's a huge property. It's kind of like the last mark in some ways of Toriyama's, involvement and stuff. So it'll be really interesting to see what goes behind a new kind of standalone Dragon Ball thing that's not tied down to, as much of its predecessor. So it could be fun. It could be cool. Like I'm not gonna hate it till I see it and hate it, but such is life. So I'd say B.
Caroline?
Even though I haven't seen any Dragon Ball properties, I am somewhat interested to see what it's about.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I am very apprehensive about it because I feel like Dragon Ball wouldn't be my thing. But this is a learning experience. So if you insist on passing it,
I will.
then I will. I am interested to see how it will go for me.
I gotta listen. I'm just gonna be selfish and put it in the A tier. The Dragon Ball has way more clout than ReZero at this point. So there's no way they're comparable. I mean, we all thought Dragon Ball Super was unneeded, and it probably made $1.5 billion, and it's 50 times what ReZero ever was. So I don't think ReZero ever got a blue-haired Goku McDonald's collaboration. So the next one on the list is one that I don't think we'll care about is Rurouni Kenshin, and this is the last from fall 2024. Rurouni Kenshin Meiji Arc. It was great.
Essentially the second season of the 2023 reboot.
Yes.
That's right. If you want to call it that.
You nailed it.
The first season was like very fine. It did some things better, it did some things worse, but it wasn't like a complete disaster. I feel like I'm more excited for a second season than I was the first season because the first season I'm like, no one asked for this, no one wanted it. But now that it's there, okay, we might as well continue and try to get a proper adaptation of the full Rurouni Kenshin manga. So I'm glad on that account, but I also just am mixed on Rurouni Kenshin. So I'd probably say C.
How do you feel, Caroline?
I did not enjoy Rurouni Kenshin. I mean, there were some things that were fine, but when you have a two-core fine show mixed in with things you absolutely hate, it's a hard sell on season 2. But you guys did say that the is it called the Meiji arc or the Kyoto arc?
Kyoto arc.
Okay, you guys. I remember you guys saying the Kyoto arc is much better than the first part.
What we got, yeah.
But even so, I mean, it's hard to put my faith in it, especially when I just wasn't a huge fan of it in the first place. So, I mean, I could possibly see it in C tier, but I don't know. I'm tempted by the D tier.
It's like a D tier for that season, but it's like an A tier for it being a bridge to future better seasons. So that's kind of where I'm splitting the difference and just saying C. But
I just hit the table. Sorry.
All right.
Clank.
So Kyoto arc is the best arc. We don't need this. It came out before. It was perfectly fine. A lot of people hate shit that came out in the early 2000s. I don't know why. Go watch it. Shishio is an awesome villain. He's so fucking cool, but he's not going to be voiced by Steve Bloom this time, which is going to break my heart. I don't care really about this. I'm going to put it in the C tier. Actually, fuck me. I'm even happy putting it in dumpster fire. I changed D tier to dumpster fire. I changed
D tier. It is. Let's do it.
No, it's now dumpster fire. I changed it.
Dumpster fire.
There you go.
Okay.
It hurts me a little, but honestly, like the Kyoto arc in the first Rurouni Kenshin is fucking awesome. It's like just awesome fight scenes everywhere, super good. But like we don't need this. I don't know why. I hope we don't wind up watching it. I don't want to. I've already seen so much Rurouni Kenshin. I'm one of those rare morons that watched all of it just so I could check it off the list, and it's just the last 30 episodes is just trash filler. Not worth watching. That's it for fall 2024, guys and gals. We did it. Yay. So we're on to the winter 2025, and there's far fewer of these, and I suspect many are going into the dumpster on these next few. Starting with unnamed.
Always time for more announcements to come. So this is all we have as of right
that's
now.
Fair. That's fair.
Mid-July. So don't message us in 2 months. Be like, oh, you guys forgot that this show got a sequel. Yeah, we probably just didn't know.
Guys, guys, honestly, this came out. This is now announced. Yeah, a bunch of the ones we have for like next year are probably going to get bumped into winter. They just haven't told you yet. So, Unnamed Memory season 2. I didn't watch this. Did either of you watch this?
Nope. I'm a bad anime fan. Did
Caroline,
not know.
Any luck?
Nope. Haven't seen it.
All right, we'll skip it then. But we did watch the 100 Girlfriends Who Really, 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 Really Love You. And that's getting a season 2 in fall and winter 2025. A romance anime where they do kiss. Oh, even though it's a
constantly,
harem. So much kissing and jiggle physics. Let's start with Caroline. I think Caroline would have the biggest opinion on this anime, as I know you loved it.
I surprisingly really enjoyed the show.
Are you the one that put it on my house? You put it on TV at my house, didn't you?
Yes, I was. Yeah. So I mean, I'm kind of between an S and an A.
Oh my God!
Love to see it.
Like, out of everything that we've talked about so far, I am so much more interested in 100 Girlfriends than I am about the rest of these shows. I mean, I don't know. Looking at like the rest of the stuff, you know what? I'll put it in. I'm gonna give it A territory because I do think we have more interesting things that could be put into S tier for me.
All right.
But the main reason why I would put it in A rather than S is that it is a gag comedy at the end of the day. So I know they're just gonna add more girlfriends to the fold, and I doubt there's gonna be much more interesting development than that. But it was really fun for a first season. So I would vote for A tier.
Wow, Mason.
Yeah, I could kind of see it. I mean,
whoa,
the show is always as funny, as outrageous as it gets. And it's only going to get crazier as more and more girlfriends are added, like a reverse Jenga, where it's all about building the tallest tower and see how much it leans and sways before it all like explodes into a kissing buffet. So, I'd say
That's
B.
true.
Like, I'm not aggressively looking forward to it, but just seeing what hijinks it gets up to. Like, I generally liked the positivity of it. It looked good. It was funny. So, B tier.
I was gonna say C
I feel
tier.
like I shook people with my with my like of it. I feel like I've lost my brand for a second there.
My brand.
My brand.
Well,
okay, sorry, Mitz, go ahead.
No, it's more like.
Oh yes, my queen.
Yeah, it's got to be my queen. So, I was gonna say C tier because this anime was just so dumb, but so I guess that puts it into a B because it averages out like that. So. There with
I'm good with that.
100 Girlfriends has risen to the level of ReZero. Wow.
Honestly, not even
It knows
mad.
what it is. It knows what it is.
All right. The next one is another one I haven't seen. I don't.
So
think
this
I've seen
one
it.
I added because I'm actually kind of excited for it. So this is Sora
okay.
Hero Utility, and there's definitely been a massive boon in golf anime. You had Birdie Wing, you had Oi Tombo,
Oh,
and we have
Tombo!
Rising Impact going on. And Sora Hero Utility is based on like a one-shot like special from years ago. It's like a 15-minute show where these three girls play a round of golf. Like that's it. There's nothing much to it. But I actually really enjoyed their chemistry because one of them is new to golf and she's just fucking struggling with it, and it's really funny and just it's very human. So this is finally getting a full TV adaptation of that. So it's kind of a sequel, not really, but I'm excited for it. I'm pretty sure no one else has seen it or cares
Nope.
about it, but I would say B tier. This could be another really cool golf sports anime.
Have you seen this, Caroline?
That's it.
Caroline's gone. We lost her.
Oh, she's gone.
Oh no,
Your
she's
first
back.
prayer has fallen
All
by the
right.
wayside.
Prepare the Hellfire music, please. I tried appealing to the good graces of the router gods, but my prayers went unanswered. In fact, actually no, they did get answered. They answered, "Fuck you!" So, in that case, I'm gonna say, "Fuck you back, router!" Because this is just ridiculous! I have spent so
Here.
much money on a nice computer, and the one thing I need is a decent internet connection! And I just never get it. I never get it. I am freaking attached to my phone hotspot to get this computer to work! And it's still not doing it.
Cue the voice of Caroline's router. Back, you silly little. Back in my day, when I was a young whippersnapper, the internet was 10 bits per second. You need to upgrade that motherfucker. That thing is like that thing is on life support in like your kitchen with like behind some like recipe books.
Now invest in a typewriter so I can type out my thoughts.
Type
I'll
a
send
letter.
it by carrier pigeon to Mitzi, and he can read it out in real time because that will probably be more reliable than this godforsaken router.
Yeah. Use a Raven like in Game of Thrones. I just went ahead and put Sora Utility in the B category just for you, Mason.
That's very generous. Thank you. I'm sure most people don't care.
All
and as Sajinther said, Oi Tombo is getting a sequel in fall this year. So
moving on, because we have to. Beastars, the final season. I will be the first one to say that I enjoyed Beastar Season 2. I just checked. I gave it a 4 out of 5 on my anime list. I don't care about the end of this. I don't remember what it was about. Don't care. Don't care. I would put it in C tier.
Exact same thing.
Okay.
I enjoyed the first season. I don't think I enjoyed the second season as much, but now that it's been so long, I don't care about the final season because I can't remember anything.
And to make you care even less, this is actually I kind of split the difference. This final season is pulling an Attack on Titan and being split into 2 parts. So part 1 is airing
don't care even
this
more.
year, and then part 2 will come out sometime in 2025.
Oh man.
So love Beastars, but it's kind of just taking the wind out of its sail. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
C tier.
The whole naming convention of Attack on Titan was extremely stupid, but they gave a reason as to why it was like that. And whether or not you believe that reason is one thing. There's no reason at all for them to do this for Beastars. It's just...
I mean, it is the final season, so it makes sense that they call it that.
Yeah,
they're just splitting it into part 1 and part 2.
Just do the 3rd season and make the 4th season the final season. It's that easy.
If it's it doesn't matter.
We gotta move
I'm
on.
fine with C tier.
I'm putting it in C tier.
I will watch it though, for sure.
I will not.
I just am less excited than something like 100 Girlfriends. I guess I don't know.
you're now beyond this winter 2025. Now we don't even have dates for these.
This is the future.
Yeah, this is the future, and we're gonna kick it off with an anime that no one gives a shit about. That's from way in the past. I'm gonna make a wild guess and say none of you care about Black Butler.
That is correct.
No one has seen it. We're moving on. Have you seen it, Mason?
No, not for
All right.
ages. I think I watched one episode of season 1 and was like, "Yep, that's a show."
We'll just leave it out. In that case, we are now on One Punch Man season 3, and it has been a long, long time since this came out, but it doesn't have a plot line really, as far as I remember. Season 2 was so bad.
Later on in this manga, it does to a certain extent.
It's been half a decade since this came out, more than half a decade, and I don't care. I would honestly put it in the C tier. I never thought One Punch Man was like the greatest thing ever to begin with, and then season 2 came out, and it was so disappointing. And I don't have any reason to be hyped about season 3 really, but do you guys feel differently?
Really liked season 1. It was one of my favorites at the time. I read the manga then, and then I watched the first episode of season 2 when it came out, and I was disappointed, as you said. And then everybody else just confirmed my assumptions. Once I stopped watching it, they were like, "No, this is a terrible season." But now that I've read the manga, I think I've probably read up to the season 3 starting point at least. So I could feasibly jump back into it. But if it's going to be the same as season 2 in terms of its quality, then I probably will just not watch it. I don't know. I'm really apprehensive about this. I want it to be good, but I don't know.
Honestly, I think I'm more excited for season 3 because season 2 was so bad. Like, I'm so interested into seeing what quality we get. Like, I really like season 1, very solid. Not Mob Psycho 100 like, but still very good. Season 2 was so abysmal. I think if season 2 was just kind of fine, I think I would feel kind of mixed about season 3. Like, yeah, it's good that it's coming back, I guess. But because season 2 was such a nightmare in so many production ways, I'm very much looking forward to seeing how it bounces back, for better or worse. And so, yeah, I'm gonna say B for me. I'm excited.
Did you say C, Caroline?
Didn't give it a ranking, but I think B is a decent place. I was considering C though.
It's a curiosity B more than a hype B.
Well, for me it's a C. For me it's a C, but we can go with it's about with Rurouni Kenshin for me, to be honest. We got to move on much quicker. Saga of Tanya the Evil season 2. Don't care. I don't give a fuck. It's been forever. What is this? It was about like Hitlers or Nazis. I don't even know. It was very like World War II military.
Yeah.
And I don't really think
I can't give an opinion.
I didn't like it, so I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, same.
All right, so Tanya the Evil. Oh man, now I gotta find all these images because I got all these like friggin' logos. The next one, while I find it, how do you guys feel about Hell's Paradise season 2? That's also coming out.
Well, I think I know exactly what Caroline is upset about.
Why?
So I don't want to steal your thunder or the spoilers of the end of Hell's Paradise, which was a pretty decent show, but at the very end implemented a mechanism of something that we find very frustrating and immediately sapped all interest of kind of the whole series for me, despite as cool and radical and
a lot of the
brutal.
progress of this story.
Yeah, I love the setting. I love the world. I love the style of it. But man, oh man, do I not care about the characters, the plot, the mysteries anymore. Yeah. So I feel like D is harsh, but D is where I'm at.
I'm in D. I'm dumpster fire.
I was kind of thinking of giving it a C, because there's still a little hope to be had. We don't know what's gonna happen. So
you want to say up with hope, down with dope, Mason, and put it in a C?
Yeah, we can be positive for once.
Up with hope, down with dope.
All the angry comments are like, do these people even like anime?
Yeah,
I feel like we're being very all over the place with this.
Can't love everything. There's 37 shows here. We barely even started them. Fire Force season 3, a show that, by the way, I think Kaiju No. 8 is very similar to, in a lot of ways. But I like Fire Force season 1 and 2 are both quite good, but I just very low chance I watch season 3. Although I think it is hype, I would put it in. I will put it in the B category because I think this is a highly watched anime. That's what I think.
Is dumpster fire the lowest we have?
Oh wow, yeah, it is.
Okay, that's where I'm putting it.
Oh my gosh.
I saw a few episodes of Fire Force season 1. Was not pleased by it and didn't watch any of it. So I don't know if that qualifies me at all to give an opinion on this because I did watch some of it, but definitely not.
This is what I'm hearing. The cruelty is just wow. I mean, literally almost 500,000 people rated this on My Anime List Season 2.
Yeah,
making this a
popular
massive
show.
title.
Listen, you put a firefighting girl with cat ears and her jubblies flopping out, like you're gonna get viewers. Like there's no debating that.
All right.
I don't know. I gave season 1 24 episodes, wanting to like it, and it didn't. And I gave season 2 another 24 episodes to turn it around, and I didn't like that either. So I think it had a chance. It's time to shine.
All right, look,
it looks cool though. I like the music.
This is what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say I'm pulling Hell's Paradise down to the dumpster, and I'm putting Fire Force as a C because
Sure.
I can't put them. I can't put them both as a C. They can't put them both as in the dumpster. And
Why?
Because this show is. Because this was the biggest, maybe the biggest anime of the year came out. I don't know, and I thought it was fine. So you can't let Mason drive a car.
Yeah,
Do you even have a license, Mason? Who would give you
Not in
such
that
a thing?
state.
Right.
Solo Leveling season 2.
Yeah, yeah, baby.
I hope the dumpster's big enough for Mason.
Oh, there will be no dumpster because Solo Leveling has got to be an A. Come on now. You both saw this. Let's hear it. Make it quick though.
Probably B. I would give it an A. I am entertained by it.
Oh,
I don't. Maybe B.
Mason is in so much trouble.
It shatters. I'm trying to think if I'm more or less excited for Solo Leveling than I was in season 1, because I feel like I wasn't excited for season 1 at all, and I got something I didn't like at all. But I could easily see it going down two paths. One of, oh, it's more of the same and I hate it, or B, they did all the setup, they did the countless exposition, the world is there, and now they can actually do the interesting thing with it that all the source readers love.
He's talking himself into it.
So,
here it goes.
Like, I can see
Let's
the
hear it.
appeal for more of it. I'm blinded to it. So I would say C.
Wow.
Generous C.
Wow.
Give it a B then.
Yeah. A B or A, I would
You
think,
cowards.
for our collective of the show.
I mean, I was kind of teeter-tottering between A and B.
All right, we'll
so.
give it a B. That's Caroline's fault, though. It should be an A.
It is all my. No, it's Mason's fault.
All right, but I'm putting it near the front, though. We haven't I don't know if we're ordering these inside the categories.
Some people do it, some people
No,
don't.
I don't know if we have time for that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't doubt it. All right, next on the list is one that just it breaks my heart, honestly. Dr. Stone season 4. I loved Dr. Stone season 1 and 2 so much, and then season 3 was such a disappointment. It just is way off the rails now from what it started out as, and I can't say I'll watch season 4 of Dr. Stone. It can't be more than a C tier for me, and that really hurts me. I'm just being honest.
Yeah, I did not see season 3, but I felt similarly to you. So I'll probably follow suit on that.
Have you seen this, Mason?
Yeah, I made it up through the movie, but not any further, and so I feel like I'm not well equipped for a thing. So wherever you want, my guy.
We're putting it in the C tier, although that hurts me. The next one is another one that doesn't hurt me as bad, but I absolutely don't care. It's in the dumpster, and that's To Your Eternity season 3. I absolutely don't care. I think
season 2 was pretty good, actually. I think I enjoyed the hype moments of season 1 better than season 2 overall, but I still pretty much enjoyed season 2. I will watch season 3. Probably give it a B though for me.
Yeah, to me, this is the same as Mitsugi with Dr. Stone. I didn't watch season 2 for To Your Eternity, and I trust Caroline on this one.
So you're giving it a B.
If that's
you don't have
it.
you haven't seen. You're not gonna.
I didn't watch season 2. I watched one episode and dropped it really
right,
fast.
I'm keeping it. I was in the dumpster. I absolutely will not watch this. Yeah, I'm keeping it in the C. Next one. Oh man, why is this being made? Trigun Stargaze. Guys, the Trigun ship sailed in like 2001. There's not a chance. There's no chance I watch this.
Dumpster fire.
Are you in the dumpster, Mason, on Trigun?
As I think the resident biggest fan of Stampede on the show, yeah, probably. I mean, especially with it just being Studio Orange, which I love, But if they're spending time on this, they're not spending time on other shows that I want more. So, sure, dumpster fire. Let's be mean.
Let me blow you guys away. We're done with that one, right? Let me blow you guys away here. And oh, by the way, it takes place in a desert. what do you want from me?
Again with the desert.
It's just so terrible. The desert is so boring. It's just hot.
We've established this last episode.
All right, I'm gonna blow you guys away here and let you know that Reincarnated as a Sword is my number 1 most anticipated sequel, and for me, it's an S.
Give it an A.
I thought that anime was a stunner. It came out of nowhere, and I thought it was fun as fuck. And I need more Fran right now.
I don't disagree with Mitz that
Oh!
at first glance, everyone was like, "Oh, it's just he's a sword. He doesn't move. What's going to happen?" And it actually delivered a pretty satisfying product with it. So I think it earned our goodwill. S tier seems extreme. I don't know. To me, S is like, oh, the season 1 ended with such a cliffhanger, and I'm like, I need my fix. Like, I don't know if I'm jumping at the bit for more of it, but I think it's earned its place to be a B tier for me.
Where are you, Caroline? Come on.
Reincarnated as a Sword, I'll give it an A tier.
All right, that's where it sits. It's an A tier. Second A tier of the day. All right, I'm excited for that. Next up is Spy Family. Got a lot of just a couple of Spy Family season 3. I didn't watch season 2.
Same.
I don't
defer to Caroline.
I don't hate this anime. But I can't weigh in really. Caroline, where would you put it?
Spy X Family is very fun and entertaining. I don't know if there's actually going to be any plot developments in season 3, but at the very least, I'll watch it and enjoy it. So A tier, but
oh, wow.
Yeah, because it doesn't really run on plot or anything, and because you guys don't especially like it, I was thinking B. But for me personally, an A tier.
Oh wait, I watched season 2 of Spy Family.
Both parts?
You did?
I didn't watch season 1. Why did we didn't review? Well, because I reviewed season 2.
Didn't we review season 1 as 2 separate cores, right?
Oh, I don't remember. Is that what happened? Whatever, it's fine.
I think that's how it worked out.
Yeah, because there was Spy Family Core 2, then there was Season 2, and I think Season 2 was... Or no, Season 2 was just one part. Season 1 was 2 parts. Season 2 was 1 part. Season 3 is coming out.
All right, so next on the list, and we're getting down there now. We got a bunch more. We got to be quick. Apothecary Diary season 2. I don't give a fuck. It's gonna be more of the same. For me, it's dumpster.
So it's an S tier.
S.
I don't remember how it ended.
Not
how satisfying of the end. It was just, she stays in there.
May or whatever the fuck her name was. Mao did something that was way over her head, but she's a genius. That's what happened at the end.
Hell yeah.
Where would you put it, Mason?
C tier.
All right.
C tier.
I'm gonna be nice.
It's got something going on. I think it deserves B.
Next up is probably after the crazy fucking shit that happened at the end of Jobless Reincarnation season 2. Season 3 Jobless Reincarnation is an S for me. That anime, Rudy is not having a good day. I mean, God, I want to spoil it so bad. Oh God. Season 2 of Jobless was the best season. The second half of season 2. It was the best season that came out. It's fucking fire. Fuck savagery happens to Rudy at the end of that season. It is unreal. Oh.
I have not seen season 2, so I can't. I got mixed up between what I have and haven't seen, but I haven't.
Are you interested? Are you interested in this?
I'm somewhat interested, but I'm also really far behind now.
I'm going to say you don't have to be fully caught up to have an opinion on whether or not you want to watch season 3 or not.
I mean, I found Jobless Reincarnation to be fairly entertaining, but I don't know if it's entertaining enough for me to watch her. I don't know.
Mason?
Yeah, because I did not watch season 2.
Give a letter. I would give it B tier. So I loved both parts of season 1, watched a little bit of season 2, and found it aggressively mediocre. So I dropped it. But with the expressed permission of Major League Baseball, that if it got good later, I might pick it back up. And I haven't been sold on it. So if season 3 comes out swinging and the people are like, we are so back, maybe I'll pick it back up. But right now, the best I can do is B.
All right.
But I think that deserves an A tier.
That's where I put it. Dungeon Meshi season 2. It's a lot of fun. We'll probably end up watching it. For me, it's about a B.
Yeah,
An A tier.
I'm excited for when it'll come back. I'm just not anxious. And this probably doesn't help that we just finished it. So we were like, okay, we just watched 24 episodes. Like, we don't need more right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, a year from now, a year and a half from now, when it comes out, we're like, oh, slipping in some nice old comfortable slippers. It'll be a fun old time. I'd say A seems fine.
How about you, Caroline?
Sounds good.
I gave it a B. You want to give it a B or an A?
A.
All right, it's an A. A lot of good shit here coming out late in the year next year. Next up on the list is one we might skip. The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten. I haven't seen this.
Yeah, me neither.
My Happy... You know what? My Happy Marriage. Oh, what a terrible anime.
With that blue dress?
Oh,
No.
That blue dress is...
No.
We need... I'm literally about to make another
That
tier
was
on here and just...
the silliest,
I'm
silliest
fuck me.
criticism I've ever heard.
Yeah. So next is Call of the Night season 2. That anime was so brutal the first time. I honestly, for me, it's the dumpster. Fucking anime is horrible.
I would probably give it a C compared to My Happy Marriage. I wouldn't disagree with the D though.
Mason.
Yeah, so this is my show that I'm excited for. I would say
okay.
Easy A tier for me.
Wow.
Back to the vibes, back to the conversations, the late night inter-vampire warfare kind of things. I'm so ready to go back to that place. And yeah, very excited for Call of the Night season 2.
So I guess
But
this means C.
I bet for the anime collective community, it's probably a C tier. So I just need to say my piece and I'm excited, and we can put it in C.
Okay. I was gonna put it in the B and be nice, but
Nah.
All right. Next up is, oh my god. All right, Shield Hero season 4. It's got to be the dumpster, right?
I've lost track of how Shield Hero has actually come out. I've only saw season 1.
All right, that's the dumpster. Next, after that, Skate. Why? What? God,
I
help
cannot
me.
believe it's getting a second season.
Why?
I
is
had no
this?
idea.
It's
It
Skate.
really seemed like a one-off kind of thing.
Skate must be dumpster, right? Is that right, Mason?
Yeah, I'm
you feel
trying
like
to think of a hypothetical if I'd be more excited for Skate 2 or Buchigiri season 2. But I think either way, it's a dumpster in my mind.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like Skate literally skated on the fact that it was fun and wacky, and it was just a fleeting, it was over. Like, I don't know.
All right, we got to move on. Windbreaker season 2. I haven't seen this.
We haven't seen that yet.
We haven't seen it, but I'm sure it'll be a fine shonen show. But
Sabi-
we'll get to it later.
Sabi Kui Bisco.
I cannot believe it's getting
Two
season
Desert
2
for
either.
you.
How? It's been so long and nobody liked it.
Yeah, they must have liked it in Japan because it's getting.
Was this is Sabi Kui Bisco an original or based off a manga or something?
I don't even want to type that into my browser.
It's a light novel.
I don't want to risk
But
getting like
still,
ads.
It's bad.
If you love Sabi Kui Bisco, you'll love this on like Yahoo Finance. Wonderful. That's what I need. All right.
Okay, dumpster.
Yep. Oh yeah. And then the last one, which also could go in the dumpster, we will find out in a second here. MF Ghost. I'm no longer an S on MF Ghost like I was before. I'm now a B. I have a hope that something cool will happen that'll redeem it. But
You
the
were
season.
an S?
Oh well, yeah. I mean, shit. I waited for this for 2 years. I was an S before season 1 came out because of Initial D.
But you're still a B?
Yeah, I didn't hate it. I thought it was average. I'm excited to see if something is going to happen that's at Initial D's level of like cool. But I don't expect
Listen,
that.
Caroline.
Yeah.
Remember, this show ended mid-race.
Don't-
The dude was going around a turn, and then credits, and you're like,
Don't make me play the fucking music. 'Cause I'll
the
do
music
it.
alone will up his score from a B back to an A. So, I would give this a C. Season 1 definitely did not blow me away. It was not an initial D's level, but it was still doing the thing. It's still an easy watch. Could do without all the panty shots, yeah, but oh my god. Let's go. B. Hey. Yes!
Oh my god.
It is.
Put it in C.
I put it in C. All right, we're done. We did
I
it.
really can't remember much about that show.
I mean, it's not very
Except
memorable.
room and sweater vests, cardigans while racing.
All right, so here's where it shook out, everybody. So here are the 5 shows we're most excited for collectively for 2000 and for the future that are sequels. Okay, we've got Dragon Ball Daima. That's mostly me, but it's like a double S for me. So, reincarnated as a sword. Fucking anime is awesome. Spy Family, Jobless Reincarnation.
Based on my preferences.
Yes, based on Caroline. Jobless, based on me again. Well, really, probably the anime community. I don't know. And then Dungeon Meshi. Those were the top 5 that we're excited for. Second,
That's a pretty good smattering between like shonen, like isekai, fantasy, like wholesome family comedy. Like you're getting a lot of range in that stuff. So I'm good with that.
it's an interesting list, and it does cover a lot of good stuff. And B tier, Solo Leveling, ReZero, 100 Girlfriends. What the hell's the golf?
Hero Utility,
Sora
though no
Ito.
one else actually cares about it. But
it's there for you, Mason.
Thank you.
One Punch Man Season 3, Apothecary Diary Season 2. That's the second tier, and I'm not going to read the rest. It's just too much. But there's just
that's fair.
What I'll say is, I'm gonna ask a question. We do have enough time for this. What one show are you the most excited for out of all of this? What is the one show?
I mean, I think I still have to go with Call of the Night Season 2.
Wow. Amazing.
It's the most, like, not in need of more for, like, plot reasons. Like, you look at something like Solo Leveling or not reincarnated. I guess, there's a lot of reincarnation shows, but a lot of these shows just have a plot that you want to see what happens next. Like, so then that's not it at all for Call of the Night for me. It's just more of that world that I want to exist in. So that's it for me.
I'm gonna surprise some.
I'm gonna go with. Oh.
I'm just gonna assume your internet wasn't working and that you didn't hear me speak.
Probably.
Go ahead.
Oh, she's on like a massive lag.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited for. Okay. I see you guys.
Uh-oh. All right.
All
right. So for me, I'm going to surprise everybody, and I'm going to say my number one most excited anime that's a sequel is Reincarnated as a Sword. I know that sounds blaspheme for a Dragon Ball fan who just bought another Dragon Ball video game literally last night. Yes, it happened. Turtle Hermit, Trunks fan, Yototo Vegeta. You guys are on Twitch right now. It happened last night. That Kakarot game, it's 80% off right now on PlayStation. So I say you gotta go get that if you want to get that. Reincarnated as a Sword, the action in that anime was so fucking off the chart for me. I was like, this is nuts. Some of those fights, she fought that like demon, that Dark Lord or whatever in like the early part of the show. That shit was on fire. It was so awesome. And Fran is cute as a button. That's all I gotta say about that. Caroline, you're back.
We'll see.
What is your number
Do I
one
sound back?
most anticipated show on this list?
Apothecary Diaries.
All right, we are a diverse crew. Okay, we're running a little long, so Caroline, why don't you get us out of here? We're not going to do predictions.
All right, let's hope I can actually finish the sentence without glitching out again. In Kaiju number 8, what is the term for monsters whose fortitude level exceeds 8.0? We'll head into the news break and give you the answer after that.
Hey, anime addicts, open up those veins because it's time for your anime crack. It's the anime news break. Getting us started off with an anime adaptation of Aya Hirakawa's Mika Dono sisters are surprisingly easy to deal with. This manga is going to be made into an anime, so if you're a big fan of this property, look out, it's coming. The Mika Dono sisters anime placed 15th and 8th in the print category in the 2022 and 2023 Next Manga Awards. It's a pretty popular manga with 1 million copies in print, and it's about the son of a late legendary actress who has had a lot of expectations placed on him because of his family and the academy he goes to, etc. However, in contrast to his mother, Yu is completely talentless and is seen as mediocre, but makes lots of friends along the way. I don't know, a very long synopsis. If you're a fan of these comedy anime, I guess that's probably what this is going to be. Look out for the Mika Dono sisters are surprisingly easy to deal with. Smacks of harem. Next up in the news, perhaps sad news, the rock band Fuji Fabric is suspending activities in 2025. So I don't know if this means that the band is breaking up or whatnot, but they are definitely going on a hiatus. The band's members will go on new paths. They are unsure if they will lead back to the band or not, but for now they're going to be working on other things. It was formed in 2000 and had a major debut in 2004 with the Sakura no Kisetsu single. So it's done theme songs for lots of anime, including Tsuritama, Aoharu Ride, Dr. Stone, Boruto, etc., etc. So if you're a fan of Fuji Fabric, well, they are apparently disbanding to work on other projects. Next up, there was a lot of news recently about McDonald's and Jujutsu Kaisen doing a collaboration. I heard various things, including that there would be a Happy Meal for Jujutsu Kaisen, in addition to other things, but it looks like they are actually just going to be releasing a special grade garlic sauce. So it looks like they are going to be putting out this sauce with the MAPPA characters on the packets. So if you are a fan of Jujutsu Kaisen, you're going to be able to get this, what is apparently being billed as a brand new variety of chicken McNugget sauce. So if you're a fan of chicken McNuggets or Jujutsu Kaisen, look out, because it's going to be coming to lots of McDonald's in the United States on July 9th, which has already elapsed as of the time you're listening to this podcast. So on your way home for work or whatever, go grab some chicken McNuggets at McDonald's and snatch up some of the special grade dipping sauce from Jujutsu Kaisen. I'll be doing it. It'll be pretty fun to engage in that. Lastly, in the news, it looks like a major anime producer has been hit with a data leak. Kadokawa, one of the world's largest media companies and anime production companies, has now suffered a major data leak after the ransom demands of a Russian hacker group, Black Suit, failed to be met on July 1st, 2024. So it looks like this was via the Record and FNN news networks. This data leak looks like Black Suit claimed about 1.5 terabytes of data related to Kadokawa, which the group previously threatened to release on July 1st. So the group allegedly has come to Kadokawa with contracts for streamers who work with Kadokawa, data on Duolingo employees, a whole bunch of other stuff. It looks like data on maybe 28,000 students in attendance around Japan. Just a lot of bad stuff. So if you are I doubt anybody listening has had any data lost to this hacker group, but definitely look out in the news. Kadokawa did not want to pay the ransom for the data and has had their data stolen. This was Mitsuki, and this was your anime news break. And now, time to get back to the podcast. You've burned through all your podcasts. There's nothing else to listen to. Boredom is coming, and you still have the whole afternoon left at work to get through. How are you going to get through this? Well, maybe you end up quitting your job, you can't afford your rent, and before you know it, you're on the street eating tuna out of a can with Henrietta over by the Piggly Wiggly and pooping against a tree by the Chick-fil-A on the corner. Listen, you could have avoided boredom, you could have kept your job and said peace out to Henrietta and her shitty tuna. If only you subscribed to the AAA Podcast's extra content, we would have carried you through that afternoon all the way to your warm bed with anime on the TV, with our hentai episodes, our hobby addicts, and our after parties. 8 extra exclusive episodes a month just for you for helping out the podcast. So special thank you. If you go over to aapodcast.com/join or Patreon, you can help us out, and we'll help you say peace to Henrietta.
Oh, yes! My queen!
When we left you, we had a trivia question for you. In Kaiju number 8, what is the term for monsters whose fortitude level exceeds 8.0? That would be Chibi Kaiju. Oh, wait, sorry. No, Dai Kaiju. Got it. And hey, when you support the podcast right now at AAApodcast.com/join our Patreon, you're going to get exclusive access to our RSS feed that'll let you listen to our 8 exclusive monthly podcasts just for you on your favorite podcast apps, and includes just pretty much everything, including the Apple Podcast app, Podcast Addicts, etc. So head over there, support the podcast, and get all of our extra content. And now it's time for a topic that we haven't done in a while, but we're going to do it now. That's living big in Japan.
日本のいいとこ見てみよう It's time to live big in Japan.
Which is basically just another form of our mailbags, which if you want to leave a mailbag, you can do it over at AAApodcast.com/mailbag. This topic is for asking questions about Japan. So if you would like to ask questions about Japan, please go to the website and submit a mailbag for that. Magnificent writes, "Hi there, I'm doing a study abroad in Kyoto this summer, and I'm sorry this is a late response. I'm really excited. I've never been to Japan before, though, so I was hoping to get some general advice or tips, things to do in Kyoto, tips about saving money, or any foods or experiences I should try." I kind of skipped over the tips part because, well, we're a little late. Like, you're already halfway through your study abroad over the summer. But I will say, or unless you're going in the fall, I don't really know. But Kyoto is a little tougher to be a tourist in. It's not my favorite place in Japan because of the buses. But if you want to hit the basic tourist sites near Kyoto, you're going to end up going outside of Kyoto quite a bit because there's so many tightly clustered cities around Kyoto. So first of all, the Nara Deer Park is a dead must. I mean, we were just there not long ago, me and Pancake, and it's just as awesome as ever. Nara Deer Park is so good. If I lived in Japan, I could honestly see myself living in Nara, like by the park, and I could just go there and hang out and like you have picnics and shit. It would be nice. Fushimi Inari, it'll be hot as fuck, but it's really, really a nice temple, one of my favorites. And you can also hike the Inari Mountain, which takes about an hour. That's pretty cool. Osaka Castle is there as well. And then you're going to be near Lake Biwa, which is near Kyoto. It's a pretty big lake, actually. And there is a ton of stuff all around the lake. And lots of ryokans, which will be really nice in that area. So if you want to splurge a little and have a night in a Japanese inn, you could hit up the ryokan. It's a pretty much a hot spot for those resorts. So, Mason, do you have input?
Go get sushi, specifically sabazushi, which is just Kyoto-style pressed mackerel sushi. It's the best. It's so good.
I've never been to Japan, so I can't really make comment on that, but I can make a comment on studying abroad and what you should do with your time. And I definitely think, every once in a while, instead of going to see a tourist attraction or trying to find something new and special to do, the best thing about, studying abroad is that you have so much time to just do mundane things. So, and believe it or not, it's actually one of the more memorable things about studying abroad. So I would recommend spending a day or, different days during your trip, walking around random places, just not the cool spots, but just visiting.
Just exist.
Just exist. Act like a local. And it's pretty cool. Go to a random park and sit there for a while, read a book, or see what random little stores they might have in a neighborhood or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
That's a good point.
Yeah, thank you. One more here from Rogue Nuggies 9000. What an interesting
Oh,
name.
he's definitely getting the Jujutsu Kaisen McDonald nuggies.
Yeah, he is. I'm gonna be getting those. I might go get those nuggets right now.
Right now.
Don't spoil
Is it even
yourself.
available right now?
Hey, the munchies are a thing. So, hello, my wonderfully enlightened AA host. I was telling my brother about this amazing podcast. Thank you so much. And which does he prefer to watch, his anime subbed or dubbed, which made us start to think about how long have each of you been studying the Japanese language? Mason, why don't you go ahead?
I mean, I started back in 2016, 2017 maybe. Just very like, oh, let me just learn hiragana, just the alphabet. And
Yeah.
it was so easy. I'm just like, well, I learned this alphabet. I might as well learn the same alphabet, which is katakana. And that was just so easy. I'm like, let me just dabble.
Yeah.
And it just snowballed into probably 3 or 4 years of studying. Took the JLPT, the proficiency test for Japanese, passed, at level like N4 or something like that. Not a high level, just like, your basics. And then I was like, you know what? The amount of effort it would take to get to the next level of N3 is just so gargantuan.
Yeah.
While I'm actually trying to live my life and not this be my like major hobby and pursuit. So I stopped. But I'll be honest, I've been dabbling a bit with Duolingo for the past 2 months just to see what it's like, and it's fine. But so I'd say I aggressively studied for 3 to 4 years, got mostly okay of it, and have since lost a majority. But it's still,
Yeah.
I'm still super glad I did it.
Yeah, for me, I studied Japan in college. Then I had a tutor for a while. I don't think either of those were very effective, to be honest. That was in Florida. It's really tough to get good at conversation without living in Japan. When I lived in Japan for 2 years, I passed N4, got pretty good, and then moved back to the States. And it's been getting rusty ever since. But I did feel like it was kind of recovering quickly as I was in Japan. I wasn't as good as I was, especially with the listening portion of things, but it definitely was recovering, and I was only there for 10 days, so we'll see.
Never studied it, so.
Caroline is a scratch.
If you
Just
call
do cool for the
if
moon
you
rings.
call watching anime and subs and pretending that I know things because I can pick up on a couple very common phrases, then
so
that is
best.
the extent of my studying.
Listen,
Onegaishimasu.
Yeah.
Ohio.
Yeah, Ohio. All right.
You're good.
We've made pretty good time here getting to this review. Caroline, this was one of your
All
picks,
right.
so go ahead.
Let's begin the review of Kaiju number 8. This is a spring 2024 anime, and I passed it in episode 726. You can watch it on Crunchyroll. So here is the general synopsis of the show. Kafka Hibino's long life dream was to become a member of the Defense Force, a militarized organization tasked with protecting Japan from kaiju. However, he is now 32 years old, has been repeatedly rejected from the Defense Force, and works in the cleanup crew that processes the remains of the monsters. After meeting his new coworker, Reno Ichikawa, he also dreams of who also dreams of being in the Defense Force. Kafka's motivation is renewed. But after a freak encounter with a kaiju, Kafka suddenly finds himself with the ability to transform into a kaiju himself. Now having eluded extermination by the Defense Force and becoming known as Kaiju number 8, Kafka tries to keep his abilities a secret while also using them for the greater good. It's based off a manga and is being done by Studio Production IG. So, coming into it, I was pretty excited for a good fighting show. From the first few episodes, I didn't quite see the hype that was being presented leading up to the season, but I knew it had potential to be fun and entertaining, and it was definitely more exciting than a lot of the other shows coming out that season. So, a wild pancake in the background there, Mitz.
She thinks she made it past without being seen, but she was wrong.
Got
And
him.
you're going to see her again in a minute.
Got him. These scurries, it's so funny. But yeah, I was
She's running back and forth. She's folding laundry, and there's a lot of it. There she goes.
Okay. Yeah, so I was fairly hopeful for a good show, but I didn't quite see it yet from the first few episodes. Mitsuki, what were your thoughts?
I had seen the beginning of this, and I thought. So I thought this show was something totally different than what it was. I thought it was going to be one of two things. Well, I guess I thought it was going to be one specific thing, and that was sort of a type of derivation of Cells at Work. Like, I thought it was going to be about everyone doing their own role on cleaning up dead kaiju bodies. That's what I thought this was going to be about. Like, I thought there was going to be like the episode where they go and do the intestines, and then they would talk about like the chainsaw crew that comes in and cuts them up, and then how they're feeding the locals. Like, I thought that was what this was going to be about, but I was so wrong.
Really funny.
Yeah, I was totally wrong, completely wrong. So yeah, that's what I thought it was going to be. I was dead wrong.
I mean, you were kind of right for the first episode, but yeah. Mason.
I was a little mixed coming in because I have read a little bit of the manga, and spoiler, what I thought about the show is kind of what I thought about that. So, but I was interested to see how it would get adapted and to see, the panels come to life. So mixed but hopeful.
Right. Well, spoiler-free recommendation on my part. I would recommend Kaiju number 8. I thought the fight scenes and the weapons and a good amount of the characters were pretty cool. Reno, he gave the impression of being annoying and pompous, and I was prepared to hate him at the very beginning, but he quickly turned it around and he became a favorite. Same with Shinomiya, the pigtail girl. I saw the character type that she was, but she slowly but surely ingratiated herself to me. I appreciated her by the end of the season. Kafka, however, a bit grating. He's the main character. And while he is the oldest character in the show, he does have moments of being serious, and it's fine. He is extremely loud and goofy and over the top, and it got a little much at times. And also the anime is not immune to shonen tropes. There's a lot of examples of that, which I'll probably talk more about in the spoiler territory. But besides that, the second half of the show, I thought it was so hype. I binged it. I was really getting into it at the end there. At the very least, it's a really good looking, passable action show, and I don't think anybody would really be bored by it. Some might like it far more than that. I'm looking forward to season 2. So, Mitsuki.
Well, what's funny is that I actually I'm a little bit disappointed that this show didn't end up being about cleaning up the bodies, because it's a more interesting take on the whole subject of kaiju. I mean, we've seen anime before where they kill kaiju, fuck, Godzilla does it, everyone does it, right? But like, it's true, when Godzilla laser breaths, Mothra or whatever, and explodes him, who cleans up all the fucking mess? I mean, there must be like 1 million gallons of blood in there alone, right? That's probably got diseases and shit in it. So there's a whole lot they could have done with it if they had gone that route with it, because I don't think anyone's ever looked at that. But they didn't do that. So, unfortunately, however, this show is still pretty good, and I would recommend it. I think that, for me, I get very bored easily. I have ADHD. I lose my focus. And I think that the fact that this show had very good pacing helped me out. I literally watched this whole show in about 12 hours. It was pretty quick. Just the definition of binging it. Pancake and I are playing this game called Unicorn Overlord, and the battles can be like up to 40 minutes long. And so she would play a battle, and I'd watch 2 episodes of Kaiju number 8, and then I would do a battle. And then I'm cooking pizza, so I stick my phone up in the kitchen and I'm making pizza. Just some inside baseball, but I really thought it was a good balance of action and comedy. Mostly, the narrative is pretty light. There's not much of one, but it's mostly about the characters. I do think it borrows themes from other shows. It is, to me, one part like Devilman, one part Evangelion. It has some Fire Force in there too, with how organized they are.
It also had some Attack on Titan a bit in there.
Attack on Titan, because it's kaiju. It's not very original. The formula still works. I think it's a lot of fun. I did find the animation to be extremely, at least, interesting. Some of the fight scenes were really cool, how they kind of create the visual representation of speed or power. Very interesting. I really like the design of Kaiju number 9. I think he's really cool. He's really weird looking. But my main complaint with the show is how ugly the characters are. They are super ugly. Not a single one of them looks good. I mean, it's just like there's so much space between their mouth and their nose and their eyes. Like Shinomiya, if you look at her, she looks like I don't know how to put it. It's like she looks like Bowser's face in Mario Party when you play the game where you stretch his facial features around to try to mimic the photo. It's like everything is stretched real far apart on Shinomiya's face. And Kafka's got like these weird like fork-tongued eyebrows. It's super odd. I'm not a fan of how it looks. I think it's actually down there with initial D, I would say, as far as how it looks. But yes, I would recommend it. And that's my spoiler-free review of Kaiju number 8.
We'll talk more about the looks and spoilers, I think, because
we will.
I disagree, but we will get to it. Mason.
I disagree and agree with both of you, and we'll figure out why we think of that later. Yeah, the show, if I had to describe it with adjectives, I would say adequate, competent, fine. Like, it's a pretty easy recommendation just on the fact that it is a shonen and it delivers a shonen experience. I think it puts its best foot forward. I think some of the better episodes are at the beginning, so it's pretty easy to determine if it's up your speed or not. But honestly, it feels kind of like a Bond movie for me, where the opening sequence, in this case episode, is really phenomenal with really slick camera work, really awesome animation, really a compelling narrative that kind of Mitsugi alluded to with, this unique behind the scenes at a cleaning crew of kaiju disposal. And then it pretty quickly reverts to being kind of typical. Like you mentioned shades of Evangelion and Devilman and all these shows, but those shows brought in so much more depth and maturity and growth and changing of the formula, which this is just following the playbook. And this really is just the popular shonen of the season. It gets the job done. Season 2 will probably be more of the same. But at the end of the day, the main adjective I would use is kind of just underwhelming. I think this show came out with so much potential and just failed to deliver an experience that I think is really meaty and juicy. So I'm going to have a lot of compliments for the show, and none of them are backhanded. I think the show does a lot of things well, but it just felt a little lackluster. So we will get all into that goodness in our spoiler section.
Oh, is this where I'm supposed to play a drop?
Usually, but...
Spoilers are coming. Oh my god!
Do you think that anime are just a little verbose these days? Like maybe it seems like every anime gets at least 2 seasons. Everything. We just went through like 40 anime that aren't even old.
I don't mind anime getting sequels. I just hate when animes get sequels and you look at perfectly otherly competent, adequate shows that are aching for a sequel.
No, but I mean like
nothing.
But like what I mean is that so Evangelion is so similar. Oh, a kaiju attacks. We'll deal with it however we have to. Pretty much, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this show's very much like that. A kaiju attacks. There's a bunch of these. Razafon, Daiguard, fucking hundreds of these anime. But guess what? Razafon, I'm pretty sure Daiguard, 90% sure, and Evangelion, all 1 season. And here's the thing. I don't remember...
Television-wise, at least.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not counting like OVAs and stuff, but like, what? Look, I'm old, okay? I have the benefit of being around since like a long time, and I don't remember every anime getting a sequel back in the day. And it's like, so of course it's anime. I feel like anime, Fire Force, My Hero, Jujutsu Kaisen, all these shows, they don't really do much in a long span of time. This is just a rambling I'm having, but think about how little some shows do in 12 episodes now. I think it's just because they want to make the shows really long, and I don't want to be too cynical, but I think it's because we're just trying to make money here. Because Kaiju number 8, probably at the end of the day, we're going to say, oh, this could easily be like 15 episodes and that's it. But I bet it could go 60 episodes. I mean, do you guys feel that at all, or am I just being weird and old?
Well, I wish we could get through an episode of this podcast without you making a commentary on the anime industry as a whole.
I think I'm trying to make an interesting comment. I just wanted to know if you guys thought so.
I don't really care, man.
I think
watch a good show, and I like the good show. I don't.
I'm gonna give
that show. I dislike the show.
I bet you 120.
I don't really care.
I bet you $120 to give this show a better review than you do.
I don't mind. That's fine.
I don't.
I don't know why every conversation has to boil into the industry, what they're doing wrong, what
I
they
mean,
had done
Mason
right
already alluded
before.
to. Mason already alluded to it by comparing it to Evangelion, but not doing much. So, at least give me an answer.
That's not a commentary on the industry.
I mean, I do think the industry, unfortunately, makes an impact on how shows are delivered to us. We get all these 12 episode shows because that's what the industry has, standardized. Like, could the show have been quicker, longer, and been better at 17 episodes and 15 episodes? But they didn't because they had to force it into an industry standard box. Maybe. Yeah. How quickly do you progress in some ways because you can stretch out your money and your resources? There's certainly a discussion to be had on that. So I guess I don't disagree with Mitz. I think there's a lot of this show has a lot of runway. I know it can do a lot more with what it's done. We were just getting into we'll talk about it later plot wise, but just, I could see this show being 18 episodes and I could see the show being 70 episodes and fitting within both comfortably.
Yeah, I really wasn't giving like a negative or a positive there. I'm just saying that like if you're wondering why the narrative doesn't progress very quickly, I think it's just because that seems normal today. I don't know. That's just an observation.
And I guess my complaint wasn't the narrative doesn't progress. I actually think it goes pretty quickly in a lot of ways, but it's just delivered in a very ham-fisted sort of way. Can I talk about how great episode 1 was?
Yeah.
This show, off the bat, did so many things well. For one thing, I absolutely adored was in the very opening shots, we get the traffic lights, which has the green, the red, the yellow, and a special kaiju traffic light for when there's an attack.
I don't remember.
And
this.
I love that sort of scene setting because with no prompting or character flat out explaining to you, oh, we installed an extra light on our traffic lights for when kaiju attacks so people know that kaijus are attacked. No. In that one shot, you instantly know, okay, kaiju attacks have clearly been going on for a while if the infrastructure of this place has been adapted for it. And it very clearly communicates, this is a recurring thing. Civilians know about it. This is our level of technology.
Yeah.
Just with that, it tells so much without saying a single thing. And a lot of anime tend to miss stuff like that. I think the kaiju themselves look a little typical, but mostly rad. We get this squadron of cleanup crew that Kafka is in, and you see this parallel when the cameraman who's producing the show of the newscast bumps into him and completely ignores him, saying, hey, we need to go view the victims, because their crew is just kind of the forgotten, unsexy. They're not the heroes, but they're not the sympathetic, pitiable victims. They're just forgotten about. So, do you have something?
Oh, did I go out again?
Yeah, or said something. Anyway, they're just kind of in no man's land of no one really cares about them, and they're kind of just wallowing away. I actually do like Kafka's eyebrows, even though they, yes, are a bit silly. But when they're surrounded by all these people in fully garbed cleaning attire with, face mask, the hooded shrouds, all you can tell from someone is their eyebrows. So that's how you can follow him around. That's good character design. And then the fights happen at the end. The camera is swiveling around the place, super dynamic. The environments are super fun. It doesn't bog down the viewer with a dictionary. Another weaker shonen might have said, oh, this kaiju is a dai kaiju, which is smaller than the Honjus, but bigger than the Yonju, and go through the whole dictionary.
Have the whole classroom setting thing.
Yeah, exactly. This show trusts you to be oh, that's called a Honju. Oh, that's called a Yonju. That's smaller. Okay, you put it together yourself. This show, episode 1, easily could have been 4.5 out of 5 for me. Just absolutely nailed the 30-year-old protagonist who is kind of past his prime, still trying to cling to hope, but know that it's not oh my goodness, it did so much, and then it just all fell apart for me. So I'll get into my complaints.
You wanted
later,
it to be a cleanup crew.
I will agree that
I did.
I will agree that episode 1 was probably the best episode out of the bunch, and that it did go a little bit down with the subsequent episodes. But I do feel I think it was episode 7 or 8, and then onward, it went up for me.
Okay.
Mitz, what did you think about first episode compared to the rest?
I thought the whole anime was pretty great. I don't think every episode was as strong as all of them. I think that's pretty much to be expected. I do recall the first episode I did watch a long time ago, back when it first came out. And I recall it being a strong first episode. I don't recall the second episode being as strong. But again, that's from a pretty long ago memory. But
No, the second episode was just, let's turn this 30-year-old protagonist into a shonen gag character.
Right, exactly.
And
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
but, sorry, go ahead.
but it's like, honestly, I thought that the show was pretty strong for most of it. I do kind of joke about the cleaning crew thing, but I think it was fine as a fighting anime, mostly because I think it just was very polished and looked very good most of the time. And I don't know, I like a lot of the characters in it. I think even Sharktooth, which I don't know why they do that. I guess they're supposed to make them look tough when they draw them like that. Or
you
something,
just like
but
the shark tooth because they
so
offset
dumb.
it by giving him a pompadour.
The pompadour
So you're like,
is
okay,
pretty ridiculous.
He's a wash.
It was a tie. Yeah, and I thought it was strong throughout.
Yeah, so going off of what you discussed from the first episode, Mason, about the systems that they have in place, I thought that was like one of the highlights of the show, was just how developed it was. Like, I don't remember a lot of the details from that first episode, but like them talking about like, well, we cleared out section this one, so you're clear to do this and this in there, but you have to go closer in to do this and this, and then you have to ask permission to unload the giant laser gun. And like other shows would probably just like, let me fire the giant nuclear gun at anything, but you have to ask permission because you don't know what you're gonna hit beyond the monster.
Yeah, it was thoughtful.
Yeah, it was like kind of similar to how in depth we felt about Dungeon Meshi. I thought this one did something similar, with the thoughtfulness in its world building in this.
I agree. And you're talking about episode 6, where that big monster comes in and is spawning all those other things, and they're like, you need to take these different zones, right?
Yes.
Okay, which is funny that you mentioned that, because if you look at the map, the creature is coming from left to right. It's moving eastward. And sections F and J are on the far opposite west end of the map, so the complete opposite side. Yet, the creature that's coming from the east is spawning the creatures there. They're fighting the enemies on the opposite side of the map, so the map doesn't make sense. Like, sectors F and J are not where the enemies are.
How do you do that? I don't know
how he
like
does
that.
it.
This show was so contradictory. There were so many times where Kafka like passes his first exam, and Renault's like, "Oh, you're glad?" He's like, "Oh, it's okay. I always fail the second exam," which is false. In episode 1, he failed the first exam. He transforms, and you can see his hands lifting up something when he's like trying to hide that he's a kaiju. And he's like, "Oh, it's okay. I transformed. It's only my hands you couldn't see." We saw your hands. They weren't transformed. That's a lie. They said, "Oh, you scored the lowest on the physical." No, he wasn't the lowest on the physical. Like, there were so many things.
I did pick that one up.
One thing, and then something else would not equate with that.
Because he was strong. He was like well built.
He was fine. Like, he got like 219 out of 250 something. Like, he wasn't the lowest of the low, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's why he sits down halfway through and tries to arm wrestle that one guy, because I guess that meant he was somewhat confident in his ability. But
nitpicks. For the most part, though, I think the strongest thing outside of episode 1 was kind of the sense of camaraderie. Like, the sense that all these characters, I didn't like a lot of them, but them all being in a platoon together, working out together, eating together, like bitching at each other, but vibing off each other, that was awesome. I love that vibe.
There's a couple other shows that are like that have all sort of been similar, but they all seem to be at least somewhat good. Seraph of the End, I feel like, was like that. They had like the little squadrons of the vampire hunters that would always get their days fucked up real bad. And then, like I already mentioned, Fire Force. I mean, Fire Force is very much like that, even more than Seraph of the End. It's very much like, here's the captain, here's the rookies. We got to look out for the rookies. They're all talking on the radio. It's I don't know. I feel like it's a formula that works. I think people just like to feel good. They want to feel like they're part of the crew. You know what I'm saying?
And I like that, but here's my problem. I feel like a lot of the side characters are just so one note so far. Like,
a lot of them have not been developed at all, aka every character.
I can see them needing more development time, but right now, I just know them as that's the blue-haired boy, that's the pink-haired boy, and that's the one that looks angry and bald. Not you, Mitz. Sorry.
I don't look angry.
But true.
But I am bald.
Yeah, but that's all I know. And then Emina also involved in that. Like, you know, obviously she's gonna get more stuff to do later on, but I don't know about these random 3 side characters. And I think that's also accentuated by the fact that 90% of whatever they say is some sort of variation of I need to get stronger. I need to get stronger.
That, or they're all smitten by Kafka for some reason. They just love him.
They
The whole stronger thing, that was the biggest shonen thing I saw in this show. I'm just like looking at this, I'm like, okay, you got rivals.
Well, it
You
helps
get
that they all
stronger.
have
I get it.
conveniently defined power levels.
Yes,
so you can always know
Thank
who
you.
is better.
I was just gonna say they have two different systems of power levels in this, and I think that is one of the reasons why I like it so much, because it speaks to something tangible like the way Dragon Ball had. You know, everybody knows about power levels. I mean, for God's sake, and we all had levels are in everything, even like role playing games, but. They very much set the tone for that right off the bat by saying, well, most people kind of plateau at 20 or whatever.
20 to 30%.
20 to 30.
Yeah.
But then the one girl's already at like 50%. So, Shinomiya, so they very much like hone in on that and get you thinking in those terms right away. And then, poor Kafka, he's a 0 or whatever.
Yeah.
But
So this isn't a flaw, but I will say, as a scientist, as an engineer, I think I shrieked out loud with frustration when all these characters are like, I'm at 11%, I'm at 12%, I'm at 13%, I'm at 47%. And he like charges and he gets like 0.01%. It's like, no way is everyone else being rounded up and he gets to have such a minuscule percent uptake. Like, no, your suit would not show that. Like, you're at 0, my guy. Come on. But no,
that was the nerdiest thing I ever heard.
That's a fair point. But going back to like the squad though, I do like and was surprised how well they, even though it was only one episode of Kafka like being a cleaner, like I love how his dissection / cleaning knowledge believably paid off in combat. Like sometimes we have the guy who like can't do anything, but he just knows everything and can. Like, it was believable that he knew, oh, the skin on this section is thinner because you believe that he probably worked on dissecting those monsters and knows that that's a weak point. Like, that was really well implemented, I thought.
I'm so glad they did that because I feel like so often we get the character that can't do much without his power up. And if he can't use his power up, he's just sitting on the sidelines doing nothing.
Yeah.
But he automatically has some sort of reason for to be able to do this job in some way, shape, or form. The only thing that kind of bothers me about this is why didn't they put him on a comms team in the first place? Like, obviously, like he's not a fighter, but he can definitely be a consultant of sorts.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure why they didn't at least like refer him to that division or something.
Have him ride around that stupid freaking tiger that just is there because it looks cool.
We need to talk about the tiger. What is the deal with the tiger? That is definitely a con in my list.
The main girl had the tiger, didn't she?
Yeah. Mina.
There's no other character with with an unbelievable pet.
I thought
a familiar of sorts in this division.
I thought it was
have a gigantic Siberian tiger or albino tiger with you, and we don't get any explanation as to what its purpose is and why it's there in season 1. I don't get it.
I thought it was to hold her back from the blast recoil. That's what I thought it was doing.
I saw that happening, and I'm like, okay, but surely you can do the same thing with, like, a mat. How did she get the tiger? How is the tiger trained?
Because it looks
Can they read
cool.
each other's
I've
minds?
seen so much
Does the tiger
weird
have
shit.
any anti-kaiju abilities? These are the questions I need answered, and I should have gotten them answered at least a little bit.
It's just
Sailor
another
Moon has a
excuse.
cat. I don't know.
One question I have for you guys, and kind of the biggest sticking point of episode 1, is at the very end where, Kafka doesn't get his power by like digging around in the guts. He's in the hospital bag, and all of a sudden this creature pops up, flies on his throat, and now he has magically his powers. Like, it's so shoehorned in, arbitrary. And I was wondering, so his design as Kaiju number 8 looks very similar to the like super suit outfits that his squad wears, like the kind of the knuckle design, the coloring scheme, like it's very matchy. And I was like, oh, maybe, this is a manifestation of his inner desires. That's what gives him the kaiju powers. Maybe this creature like is sent from within. Like all these theories about why kaiju, like, but no, like none of that's explained. Maybe we'll get it later, but it seems like a very lazy way of introducing his power. At where we stand season 1 of just creature appears, flies into his body.
Is it any different than like Spider-Man being bitten or Parasite? Seems like that's kind of.
It seemed like this creature like has intent of like I don't know. It feels like there's more to it. This isn't a laboratory accident. This creature clearly has will. Is clearly like preying on him when he went psycho mode at the end. Like there's a bit of. I'm not saying I need an answer in season 1, but it was so blatantly. I don't know. It just felt like oddly placed.
Yeah, I definitely feel the same way. I don't think that the kaiju design has anything to do with the cleanup crew design. I don't see it.
Not the cleanup crew design, the like officer, like the black and gray. Like look at how their fists,
Are they different?
How the padding is.
Even
it's
that,
very
I'm
similar.
I'm
it looks like they're on the same team.
I didn't notice that really. I don't even remember what the designs look like.
Besides that, I was surprised by how he got the abilities, because I'm thinking to myself, it's got something to do with the inciting incident, which is that kaiju attack that he saved Reno from. But it has apparently, as far as we know, absolutely nothing to do with this other kaiju that appears in a random hospital room to Kafka and just shoves itself down his mouth.
Show him a good time.
I feel like there's probably an explanation here, but I was surprised that it had nothing to do with the previous attack. That was my main.
And that's kind of the theme for the whole show, where it's just kind of monster attacks. They fight each other, training monster. Like there's not much of a through line to a lot of these events, and these characters don't really grow. They don't really change. They just kind of exist and fight off monsters just in time for the next monster to attack. And like Mint said, I like this kaiju number 9 who kind of has intellect, is pulling the strings. I do like, and huge props for this before I start complaining about the show, is this whole, we gotta hide Kafka's identity as kaiju number 8, like, doesn't persist for 7 seasons. Like, you had 3 nincompoops trying to disguise it. They weren't doing a great job, and you're like, how are they getting away with it? And by the end of the season, he reveals himself to the organization that he's kaiju number 8, and we don't have to like play this game of musical chairs of him trying to be like, oh, I'm gotta use my powers, but sneakily so no one knows. Like, I'm glad we're past that hurdle and we can actually get forward into utilizing him as, a protective member to fight more monsters, which is what's going to happen as they fight more monsters. And
the idea of him I did not like that the idea of at least the first season was going to be he has to hide his powers or else he will be experimented on or killed because he's a kaiju. And I'm like thinking to myself, oh, that's so stupid. Like, because I want to see him use his powers. I want to see him be on the team. So I was kind of hoping that even sooner than it actually did, he would be revealed and they would be like, you know what? You're a good guy. We're going to keep you around. That's what I was hoping would happen. But I will say they kind of convinced me a little bit as to why it had to happen this way through, explaining that if the public knew that a kaiju was on the kaiju team, that would be an issue. I would, as a member of the public, I'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? We have a kaiju on the kaiju team. There's no, so at a certain extent, I was like, okay, I can kind of believe it now.
Yeah. Did anyone just go ahead, Mitz?
I don't know. I didn't think much of going clear back to the beginning there. There's so many superheroes that just seem to just magically get powers. I don't know. It must be very hard to come up with like plot lines that are believable and or elaborate enough to warrant having a superpower. But like, I was just thinking about it, and like, even like side characters like Two-Face, doesn't he fall into like a vat of acid or something? Like, it's always something simple and. I don't know. I think I was just so engrossed in the power levels and watching things explode that never even really occurred to me.
Yes, and to me, those power levels were like holding the show back because we didn't get to see these characters of their personalities besides, oh, he's 17% and now he's 18%. And like Caroline said, it's all about strength and number go up, which is fine, which is fun. But I feel like we didn't get a suitable character backing them up. And when we did get a character like Hikaru just picking up this dude's van, throwing it across the parking lot and just wrecking it to be a little baby. Like, I don't like you.
Fuck
I don't
this
like
van.
you.
Yeah.
And a lot of the characters were just kind of blah for me.
It's
Yeah,
fair.
I definitely think, like the only characters I really enjoyed seeing was Reno, Shinomiya after, we got a little bit more out of
And
her.
you only like both of
And
those because they're
and
not a jerk anymore.
and yeah. Yeah, that's true.
They're just Yankee thug boys.
Yeah, like, I don't know. They didn't bother me. They're kind of plain. And her just screaming out, Kafka Hibino, you're a human. Kafka
Yeah,
Hibino,
that
Hibino
was
Kafka. Don't
that
fight
was
my father. You're a human. Like, I get that there's time skips. I get that they're growing together. I get that there's a little love going on because he saved her once, but I don't know.
What was the
It's
deal
a little
with that anyway?
shallow.
What was the deal with her
Yeah.
dad?
He's a big boy and he plays with big toys.
No, I know
And
he is,
wanted-
but like, was he trying to help? Was he trying to test him? Was he trying to
He wa-
kill him? I don't know.
think he was trying to see just how far he can push him without him losing his mind. Because
That's
I mean,
kind of
well-
where I got. Yeah.
Well, he
Yeah.
lost it, then he got it back. So he found his
Yeah,
marbles.
so I think
Crazy.
he's really just trying. I think it was more of like it was a test just to see if he can be trusted to a certain extent.
Yeah. Speaking of
But
cool
then
fights,
and similarly, again, I hated the dad, and now I'm thinking like, you're kind of cool, although you're a terrible father.
He was an asshole.
and let's not forget all the times where he's like, I hope no one forgets the time that Kaiju number 3 destroyed everything. And the one guy's like, yeah, like when your wife died from the back of the room. Like, okay, we get it. We don't need that sort of exposition.
Yes, including your wife. I'm like, yes, I remember.
Yes, thanks
that.
for reminding me.
What would possess you to say that?
Like some of the exposition was a little sloppy. I do like some of the fights. They're a little predictable. It was a lot of, we gotta save someone by the skin of their teeth, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Did anyone else see that in a lot of these sequences where Kaiju number 8 went sicko mode or whatever, and like powered up, the screen really got dim.
Yeah.
Yes,
Like
it
in
did.
these flashy moments, everything just kind of darkened.
It wasn't
and
just
I
you.
thought it was my screen at first, and then I
No,
thought it was maybe it was a flashback, but it seemed like
They
an
do it
odd
often-
choice.
They do it often with like oftentimes in My Hero Academia, as an example, when it gets really flashy animation, bright colors, fast moving, all that. They have to lower the resolution, or not the resolution, the brightness,
Mhm.
in order to avoid being
Like a seizure warning or something, or
food for causing epilepsy or something.
okay.
Whatever
Well,
happened to putting the
I guess
warning at
that's-
the
I also-
beginning? That sucks. I hope
I
that's not
guess
the
that's
reason why
fair,
they
but
did
it does definitely literally diminish the
Yeah, it really
experience.
takes you out of it.
Yeah, that's
I think we should talk about the character designs. We kind of alluded to it earlier.
Mhm.
I can agree that Kafka's eyebrows are weird, but I like it for the reason I mentioned earlier. As far as the eyes, though, they're terrible. And some
Yeah.
characters can kind of get away with it, but some characters, specifically stuff like Hikaru or Izumo, it looks like their eyes like oddly flush around the side of their body. Like it contours around their
They're
face.
sliding off.
And yeah, it just gives them. I get it's animated on not cells but digital. This sure
God.
looks especially 2D in a lot of ways. And there's definitely some odd cuts and through lines. Nothing too distracting, but it looks fine overall.
It's-
But it looks really chonky in some ways.
It's
I will say that some of the face shapes
Yes,
are
that's what it
eternally
is.
square
Yep.
and just
That's
does
what
look
it
a
is.
little masculine at times. But I think
Oh.
it's a stretch to say it's as bad as Initial D.
it's down there. It's down there.
I
Yeah.
don't think that's possible.
Yeah.
Honestly, I watched the show the entire way through, and I thought, that looks a little weird, but never once did I think, God, that's an ugly character.
I mean, the point is
but
that
I did it
they're ugly.
constantly during MF Ghost.
The point is that they are. I mean, it may not be as ugly as Initial D, but it is. I will remember this anime as being very ugly. Like I'm looking at Ashido right now, and it's just like. No, it doesn't matter how I look at this photo. She doesn't look good. I don't know how to put it. And some of them just look downright like they're trying to make them look bad. Like Kafka, come on, he looks like he's getting electrocuted all the time.
And by totally an opposite way, we got Aoi, who has no eyebrows whatsoever.
Oh, you're right.
He's trying his
Yeah,
best.
exactly. And then fucking Sharktooth Boy looks like
Okay, so
a
he
thug
wasn't
version
bald.
of what's that?
I misspoke earlier.
Yeah.
He wasn't bald. He just didn't have any eyebrows. But
I thought that for some reason I thought there was a bald
that's the thing
character.
I was saying earlier. Is this
It's
guy?
the only bald guy is that jerk who reminded the captain about his dead wife.
The best looking
dead wife.
character is probably Reno or Leno, however you want to say it. Yeah, I mean, and then the one kid looks so overly Asian. It's just very bizarre. I don't know.
Oh, Hoshina.
Yeah, he looks like Rock Lee or something. Rock Lee and Brock had a baby. Pancake is screaming. Yeah, it's just I don't know. Your mileage will vary. I get that their looks aren't the point, but like they do look. And in an era where anime characters are getting better and better looking constantly, these are like almost intentionally. I don't know.
They are well
off.
designed as a group to all look different. They just
Yes.
don't look good.
That's
so
right.
I can agree with
It
that.
wasn't
but-
enough to like take me out of it and like say like, oh, I can't see. I just can't. With
It's
these
not a deal
characters.
breaker.
They're the greatest looking characters, but I would be hard pressed to say that they're the ugliest that I've
I
seen.
will say I thought the voice acting was pretty decent.
Yeah.
Shinomiya had some pretty brutal screams when she was getting her teeth kicked in. So, gotta give him to that.
Did you watch the dub or the sub?
I watched the sub. I don't know how the dub. Any comment?
I recall thinking I didn't think Kafka was as loud on the dub maybe as Caroline was experiencing in the sub maybe.
Maybe I don't know if loud is like the main thing here. It's more like he was just so wound up.
He
all
is
the
wound
time.
up.
It was like I just
yeah.
and he's supposedly 32 years old. He's supposedly the most mature out of all of them. It's just come on.
I like how they make 32 sound like the oldest person alive. Like honestly, 32 at 32, I was still the Terminator. So I don't really know, but it's not that
As someone
old.
who is pretty much 32 right now,
Do you feel like the oldest man on Earth, Mason?
I mean, in this setting, I do. Like, if you were surrounded by everyone who's younger than you, trying to get into a task force where like it has a age restriction, like I get feeling old, and I get that you don't have to be old man, super reserved Zen man. Like you can be goofy as a 30-year-old. I wouldn't know anything about it, but I can believe it. That said, like he's just always on with just being the wacky zany character. Like
Whoa.
I think if someone walked by not watching a couple episodes, they wouldn't know that Kafka is the main character. Like it's probably Reno or probably someone else who has power, and Kafka's just the old dude. Like that's how everyone refers to him. But I don't feel that. He just feels like another shonen protagonist. He just feels like the person with the powers. I don't get the drive and ambition and sorrow and lethargy that we saw in episode 1. It's all stripped away for him to just be cool fighting guy.
Can we talk about that for a second? Because I gotta be consistent. I still think the incredibly common plot point of I made a promise when I was 6, and so my whole life is about this. He's got like a mental illness. I mean, honestly, you're gonna fail 10 times for a promise you made when you were 4. Really? Come on. And you're gonna nearly die like repeatedly for that. It just doesn't seem likely. I don't know. Are you guys buying?
I also was thinking to myself like it's the promise when you were children thing, that other shonen trope, but I kind of supplemented it with like feeling like, oh, he really wants to be a part of this crew, whether Mina was in it or not, the whole superhero, like I want to be a superhero kind of thought process. So that kind of saved it a little bit for me. But yeah, I definitely thought about it.
Yeah, I agree.
I had a spare of the moment thought. Did anybody else want to watch Mina do something other than shoot her giant railgun? Because I mean, if the one kid, if Rock Lee's son or whatever, if Brock's son is like flying around like a pinball, just going ham on these kaiju at like 60%, and she's at 96. I mean, I wanted her to go out there and show us what she can do with the fucking sword.
I mean, I think
know,
that was the point. The point is she's not good with the sword. She's
Go,
only a long-range person, so she needs him.
Get in there. I want to see her get in there and move. I don't want her to just stand in a building and hide and shoot a gun. I don't know.
Yeah.
You
I
gotta
agree
hide
with
your
that.
strongest character.
I agree with that. The only thing that I'm because I always like to try to justify things in some sort of way, so it doesn't bother me anymore. I thought like maybe her weapon, like it seemed like the weapons are specially made for the user, so maybe her weapon can only
Could
be
be.
used by somebody with her suit's power
Yeah.
level or something.
I mean, they
Could
clearly
be.
said like his swords and her gun were like for the captain and vice captain.
What's she gonna do when something gets close to her and she can't shoot with that sniper rifle from 8 feet?
We'll probably see it in season 2, and Kikaru will come by with a bale fucking axe thing, and it'll all be fine. You
I
know?
hope she pulls out like a tomba or whatever those fucking stick weapons are and just goes ham.
I mean,
think that
she's
would be
literally
dope as
said she's
shit.
bad at close range, so I doubt it. But
Figure
we'll
it
see.
out, girl.
I think my last comment I have, because I know we're starting to run long, but this is kind of emblematic of the show as a whole, was the opening song, which was kind of weak musically, but it had really neat visuals. But it really just felt like watching a lava lamp, where
That's what I thought
things
too.
were flashy and cool and woo, but it didn't really give me anything. I didn't get any themes. I didn't
Isn't
really
it-
like the CG representation of them at the end, but that's a different matter.
Isn't
Like,
it supposed to be cell division? Isn't that what kind of what
I
was
mean,
happening?
yeah, it could just be the growth because you see them in the bottle and the blood and stuff like. But it really wasn't enriching in any way. You just watched it, and I'm like, cool. And then that was it. That's kind of how I feel about this show as a whole. Like, I watched it, I see the cool kaiju fights, I see the characters get stronger, and I'm like, cool. But I don't really take anything away from it. It's just an experience to pass the time, and I don't know.
The
And I didn't
opening
also like the
actually-
soundtrack. It was kind of distracting more than enriching.
I thought the opening, it actually grew on me after a few episodes. Like I don't like Youngblood music very much, but I will say I did kind of like the beat of this, so I might actually listen to it in full later.
There you go.
And again, I totally agree with the whole lava lamp thing. That's exactly what I was thinking. But I will say that well, it kind of feels a little bit clunky in spots. I thought the kaiju coming at you in the opening was kind of cool.
I just didn't like their CG stuff at
Yeah,
the end.
the
It was
CG
just
stuff.
odd. Come on, it's an anime. Stick with it.
I think I'm ready
Go
to
ahead, Nick.
score it. The only other thing I
Yeah.
would add is that I think for a show that has such good action, it needs to get a little more balls. These characters are like basically talking to Saint Peter multiple times, and they somehow don't die. It's just
Yeah.
kill them. There's plenty of them. Kill them. Make us worry about them. It'll be better for it. You can always recruit more people, but for God's sake, let them die. Don't pull out multiple miracles.
We've
Yeah, I
seen like
totally
7
agree.
instances where a character is going to die, another character runs away, comes back to save them so the other person can run away, and they come back to save them again. Like, it's a weird.
They're shot full like Swiss cheese, and
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
somehow make it through. And yet, like they did say,
Oh, they missed
on
my
several
heart.
Yeah, I put shields around my heart so it curved it, and I'm like, sure, you had enough time to
Yeah,
stop
okay,
that
buddy.
surprise attack. Got it. But they did make a couple references saying like, don't get close to your comrades because they will definitely die. And once
Apparently not.
I believe them a little bit. Maybe in season 2 they'll understand that to a certain extent, and that'll be a part of the drama. But yeah, I totally agree. I was like waiting. I'm like, there's no way these many people are surviving these things.
All right. I got nothing else, you guys.
School.
I can go first because I think I'm gonna give it the lowest score
Sure.
because I was trying to be very positive.
not.
I said a lot of good things, but at the end of the day, like, this is a fine shonen, but it really lacked any emotional arc or intellectual payoff after the first couple episodes. It really just kind of set up shop and just ran on its laurels for most of the rest of the time. And I wanted something more, and I felt like we were close there. The environment, the world is set up for it. I just didn't think season 1 delivered something, and it just felt very safe. It didn't take any risk. It just played everything by the book. Power levels, power levels, power levels. Kill the enemy before anyone dies. The characters were really the biggest lack of anything to me. They're fine. Like, I don't hate them, but there just was no maturity, no growth. The show was never egregious, but it, at the same time, never really excelled and blew me away. So I think the best days for the series have already passed in my eyes, and
man.
that's kind of disappointing for me. So I'm gonna give this Kaiju number 2.5 out of 5.
Wow.
Go next. Generally, I really liked the show. It didn't have like a strong start after season 1, or sorry, episode 1. Season 1 was great. Kind of went down a little bit. Brought it back at the end, and I think I am very interested in seeing like the background of what's the deal with the enemy kaiju, because obviously something's starting, and I do want to know what's the deal. Overall, just production-wise, I thought it was solid and a lot of fun. So with that, I think I will give it 4 Kafka in kaiju form peeing through his nipples out of 5.
Oh my god.
Eek.
That was disgusting.
That was awesome.
Oh, I think I missed that. I don't remember that.
That was in like episode 2, I think. Like
Yeah,
they
he's
were
like
running
too
away from the
embarrassed
hospital.
to
They
change
were running away from the
back.
hospital. Kafka really had to pee, and then
That explains it.
and they did this
Yeah.
whole like they changed the color of the
That's
background
gross.
and put sparkles around it. It was just,
Wow. I don't think I can top that one. So this anime, I thought it was really good. I'm coming to find that I think the most important thing for me is pacing. I think I lose my focus and my attention real easily, especially if I'm reading subtitles, and the pacing really helps. I mean, I could have watched probably quite a bit more than 12 episodes this week. I think that marathon would have just kept going. I don't think it's really a masterpiece. To be honest, I said everything. I think this is just a pretty exceptional action show, really. I mean, it's fairly polished. It's not perfect. But boy, some of the power-ups are really exciting. Yeah, so I don't think it's better than Solo Leveling. I think I like them about the same. And I think I give Solo Leveling a 4. So that's what I'm going to give this, is 4 numbered kaiju we'll probably never see out of 5. Right? We've seen, what, like 4 of them?
well, we have references to some, but
Yeah.
like with
Oh.
with special weapons.
Yeah.
But I mean, we'll probably not see a lot of them because they've already been defeated.
I think 4 is accurate to some extent.
Yeah, 4 or something like that. Okay, well, you were right, Mason. It was the lowest score.
Who would have thunk it?
He's on a hot streak, people. Come on. The man.
Hopefully I said some good things about the show, though. You know,
You do. You always do. But
I try.
you,
I just wanted more. I wanted a cleanup crew. Okay, is that too much to ask?
I think honestly, if you're listening, you're probably not. But Wit Studio, whoever the fuck did this, if you're listening, I think that an OVA maybe is appropriate.
Spin-off show.
Yes.
Spin-off
Yeah.
show.
Exactly.
Spin-off show.
Kaiju number 8 Black Edition. They can
just
do
a
the
couple
dirty,
episodes.
because there's going to be like just eyeballs. Who has to clean up like the eyeballs? I mean, ugh, come on now.
Yeah. What other than weapons? What do we use the kaiju for?
Food.
Tell us.
Food.
Show
Good
us.
eating.
Good eating.
Well, that's Drifting
Dungeon
Dragons.
Meshi.
That's another
Yeah,
show.
they're gonna sell it to Dungeon Meshi and make some fucking kaiju food.
Get us out of here.
All right. Yeah,
Am I getting us out of here?
you are. Yeah.
You know what?
Oh.
Yeah, I'm making you. I'm changing the script right now to make you
Oh.
feel bad.
Mason's always
Okay.
making it tricky.
Well, we close out the show with only a couple of complete blackouts for me. So,
That wasn't too bad.
hooray, hooray. Maybe next time I will have bought a new router, but probably not because I'm lazy.
Go check Craigslist. You probably get them for like $5.
Perhaps.
Everyone, remember to get your chicken McNuggets
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
ready for next
That's
episode.
Yes.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can join us on Twitter at AA Podcast. Join us on Facebook. Join us on Discord. Go to AAApodcast.com for information on all that. Plus, send us mailbags and all the fun stuff there. And yeah, we will see, or these two will see you next week. I will be on vacation.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, you guys will be
Aloha.
reviewing Wiki as a little retro review. So
Are you going to Hawaii?
no, I'm going to Delaware.
Oh. I was just gonna keep guessing. He gave it away too. I would not have guessed
Oh.
Delaware. That was not. Yeah.
No, you
Nope.
would have forgotten about it.
Nope. All right.
Well, regardless, we'll have a fun time there. And I'll see you guys in a couple weeks. These two will see you next week. Bye.
Toodles.
McNuggets.
Oh. I like McNuggets.